Thank you for joining Wars of the Roses. And this is Kilwinning from the Encyclopedia of Freemasonry by Albert G. Mackey. Kilwinning. As the city of York claims to be the birthplace of Masonry in England, the obscure little village of Kilwinning is entitled to the same honour with respect to the origin of the order in the sister kingdom of Scotland. The claim to the honour, however, in each case, depends on the bare authority of a legend, the authenticity of which is now doubted by many Masonic historians. A place which, in itself small and wholly undistinguishable in the political, the literary or the commercial annals of its country, has become of great importance in the estimation of the Masonic antiquary from its intimate connection with the history of the institution. The Abbey of Kilwinning is situated in the bailiwick of Cunningham, about 3 miles north of the royal burgh of Irving, near the Irish Sea. The abbey was founded in the year 1140 by Hugh Morville, Constable of Scotland, and dedicated to St. Winning, being intended for a company of monks of the Tyrannesian order, who had been brought from Kelso. The edifice must have been constructed at great expense and with much magnificence, since it is said to have occupied several acres of ground in its whole extent. Laurie, History of Freemasonry 1804, says that by authentic documents as well as by other collateral arguments which amount almost to a demonstration, the existence of the Kilwinning Lodge has been traced back as far as the end of the 15th century. But we know that the body of architects who perambulated the continent of Europe under the name of traveling Freemasons flourished at a much earlier period, and we learn also from Laurie himself that several of these Masons traveled into Scotland about the beginning of the 12th century. Hence, we have every reason to suppose that these men were the architects who constructed the abbey at Kilwinning and who first established the institution of Freemasonry in Scotland. If such be the fact, we must place the origin of the first lodge in that kingdom at an earlier date by 3 centuries than that claimed for it by Laurie, which would bring it much nearer in point of time to the Great Masonic Assembly, which is traditionally said to have been convened in the year 926 by Prince Edwin at York in England. There is some collateral evidence to sustain the probability of this early commencement of Masonry in Scotland. It is very generally admitted that the Royal Order of Herodem was founded by King Robert Bruce at Kilwinning. Thorey, in the Acta Latimorum, gives the following chronicle. Robert Bruce, King of Scotland under the title of Robert I, created the Order of St. Andrew of Chardon after the Battle of Bannockburn, which was fought on the 24th of June, 1314. To this order was afterwards united that of Herodem for the sake of the Scotch Masons, who formed a part of the 30,000 troops with whom he had fought an army of 100,000 Englishmen. King Robert reserved the title of Grand Master to himself and his successors forever, and founded the Royal Grand Lodge of Herodem at Kilwinning. Dr. Oliver says that the Royal Order of Herodem had formerly its chief seat at Kilwinning, and there is every reason to think that it and St. John's Masonry were then governed by the same Grand Lodge. In 1820, there was published at Paris a record which states that in 1286, James, Lord Stuart, received the Earls of Aluster and Ulster into his lodge at Kilwinning, which goes to prove that a lodge was then existing and in active operation at that place. The modern iconoclasts, however, who are levelling these old legends with unsparing hands, have here been at work. Brother D. Murray Lyon has attacked the Bruce legend, and in the London Freemasons magazine, 1868, page 141, says, "Seeing that the fraternity of Kilwinning never at any period practiced or acknowledged other than craft degrees, and have not preserved even a shadow of a tradition that can in the remotest degree be held to identify Robert Bruce with the holding of Masonic courts or the institution of a secret order at Kilwinning, the fraternity of the Herodim must be attributed to another than the hero of Bannockburn, and a birthplace must be sought for it in a soil still more favourable to the growth of the high grades than Scotland has hitherto proved." He intimates that the legend was the invention of the Chevalier Ramsay, whose birthplace was in the vicinity of Kilwinning. I confess that I look upon the legend and the documents that contain it with some favour, as at least furnishing the evidence that there has been, among the fraternity, a general belief of the antiquity of the Kilwinning Lodge. Those, however, whose faith is of a more hesitating character will find the most satisfactory testimonies of the existence of that lodge in the beginning of the 15th century. At that period, when James II was on the throne, the barons of Roslin, as hereditary patrons of Scotch Masonry, held their annual meetings at Kilwinning, and the lodge at that place granted warrants of constitution for the formation of subordinate lodges in other parts of the kingdom. The lodges thus formed, in token of their respect for and submission to the mother lodge, whence they derived their existence, affixed the word Kilwinning to their own distinctive name, many instances of which are still to be found on the register of the Grand Lodge of Scotland, such as Canongate Kilwinning, Greenock Kilwinning, Cumberland Kilwinning, etc. But in process of time, this Grand Lodge at Kilwinning ceased to retain its supremacy and finally its very existence. As in the case of the sister kingdom, where the Grand Lodge was removed from York, the birthplace of English Masonry, to London, so in Scotland, the supreme seat of the order was at length transferred from Kilwinning to the metropolis. And hence in the doubtful document entitled the Charter of Cologne, which purports to have been written in 1542, we find in a list of 19 Grand Lodges in Europe that of Scotland is mentioned as sitting at Edinburgh under the Grand Mastership of John Bruce. In 1736, when the Grand Lodge of Scotland was organized, the Kilwinning Lodge was one of its constituent bodies and continued in its obedience until 1743. In that year, it petitioned to be recognized as the oldest lodge in Scotland. But as the records of the original lodge had been lost, the present lodge could not prove, says Laurie, that it was the identical lodge which had first practiced Freemasonry in Scotland. The petition was therefore rejected, and in consequence the Kilwinning Lodge seceded from the Grand Lodge and established itself as an independent body. It organized lodges in Scotland, and several instances are on record of its issuing charters as Mother Kilwinning Lodge to lodges in foreign countries. Thus it granted one to a lodge in Virginia in 1758, and another in 1779 to some brethren in Ireland calling themselves the Lodge of High Knights Templar. But in 1807, the Mother Lodge of Kilwinning renounced all right of granting charters and came once more into the bosom of the Grand Lodge, bringing with her all her daughter lodges. Here terminates the connection of Kilwinning as a place of any special importance with the Masonry of Scotland. As for the Abbey, the stupendous fabric which was executed by the Freemasons who first migrated into Scotland, its history, like that of the lodge which they founded, is one of decline and decay. In 1560, it was in a great measure demolished by Alexander, Earl of Glencairn, in obedience to an order from the States of Scotland, in the exercise of their usurped authority during the imprisonment of Mary Stuart. A few years afterward, a part of the Abbey chapel was repaired and converted into the parish church, and was used as such until about the year 1775, when, in consequence of its ruinous and dangerous state, it was pulled down and an elegant church erected in the modern style. In 1789, so much of the ancient abbey remained as to enable Grose, the antiquary, to take a sketch of the ruins. But now not a vestige of the building is to be found, nor can its exact site be ascertained with any precision. Thank you for watching, and please don't forget to share, like, subscribe, and comment, and if you can, please consider donating to Wars of the Roses. Links to PayPal and Patreon are in the description. Thank you so very much.